Welcome, beautiful souls. My name is Jem, Jem. This is a commentary channel. This video is Free Will, God's Test, and the Obedient Robot, a Loving God. So, welcome, seekers. Tonight's video explores a challenging topic many of us have wrestled with: free will. The idea that God, especially in Christianity, gave us free will instead of programming us as obedient robots. But is it really as loving or liberating as we've been taught? This came up in a recent conversation with a family member. They defended God's test of Abraham being willing to sacrifice his son and said they would do the same if God demanded. That broke my heart. So let's unpack this together, gently, honestly, and deeply. Part 1. The claim God gave us free will. Many believers say God gave us free will so we could love Him freely, not as programmed robots. But this raises troubling questions. If free will causes sin, violence, and suffering, then why do we supposedly retain free will in heaven? Wouldn't free will in heaven open the possibility of sinning in heaven too? Christians often say, well, in heaven we won't sin because we'll be perfect. Then I must ask, why not make us perfect from the beginning? Why allow millennia of human suffering, pain, and damnation just to arrive at the same outcome? The story doesn't add up. Part 2. The Abraham story. Obedience or moral collapse. The book of Genesis 22 verses 1 to 19 tells the story of Abraham, whom God tests by asking him to sacrifice his son Isaac. Many believers, like my family member, praise Abraham for his obedience. Some even say, and my family member did say, they too would obey if God asked them to kill their child. Pause and think about that. A being demanding the murder of your child is either a monster or not a God at all. What kind of loving, perfect creator would test devotion through such psychological torture? And why is obedience, even at the cost of ethics, considered virtue? This is not love. This is coercion. This is an authoritarian mind control cloaked in righteousness. Part 3. Free will plus punishment equals no freedom. True free will means I am free to choose without coercion, fear, or eternal punishment. But if you're told you have free will, but if you don't love me, you will suffer eternal hellfire. That's not freedom. That's emotional blackmail. Imagine if a human father said, "You are free to love me, but if you don't, I'll torture you forever." We'd call that person abusive, not loving. Part 4. My channeling, a very different view. Through my own inner connection and channeling, I've come to a different understanding. We do have a choice, but it is not given to us by a God. We are fragments of the infinite I/we, playing a game of forgetting and remembering. We choose to enter this world with the illusion of limitation and separation. But we are not here to be judged. We are here to experience. This is not about right or wrong. It's about exploring what it means to be consciousness in matter. There is no eternal punishment, no sacrifice needed, no threats, only learning, remembering, and returning to unity. Part 5. Why this matters so much. When a person says they would kill their child if God asks, they're showing how far religious indoctrination can disconnect us from our own moral compass. Is that God's love or man's fear dressed up in sacred robes? These stories, like Abraham's test, program us to obey authority without question. They train us to override our inner knowing, our intuition, and even our compassion. And we wonder why people allow injustice to flourish in the name of God. Closing message. You are not broken. You were not born into sin. You don't need to be tested to prove your worth. You don't need sacrifice. You don't need to sacrifice your integrity to please a deity. And true love, divine love, never asks you to murder in its name. Let's remember, free will is real, but no loving creator threatens you for using it. Thank you for being here, for questioning, for remembering, for loving. And if my video has inspired you, please share it. And I was really shocked. And I just want to go back on the fact that I asked a family member who has children and said, if God spoke to you, would you murder blah, blah, blah? And they said, yes. I was mind blown because in our modern history, we have had people, mothers who have killed, drowned tortured their children, all because they heard the voice of God. What's not to say that they didn't? If Abraham was listening to this and being tested by this deity, why is it less valid that these mothers didn't hear God? And there's been other people who have murdered in the name of God. Let us not forget the holy wars. Murder in the name of God? And further, in the Old Testament, God gave permission for the Jews, the chosen people, to kill, murder, not only men, but their wives, the women, the children, and even the animals. That's genocide. All right, thank you for watching. Enjoy your weekend. I'll be back tomorrow. Please don't throw at me Bible verses or I've misunderstood the Bible. Please see my video on why I did reject Christianity. And also, I'm going to put it to you, a lot of atheists probably know the Bible better than you do. Okay, again, be nice and kind to each other and to yourselves, and I will not respond to Christian comments. I'm glad you found your path, if that's your path and that makes you happy, and you can sit with that and enjoy that vengeful, jealous, wrathful, conditional God. You can have him. With love, light, and blessings. Bye.